being with a narcissist, in a relationship with a narcissist, is so draining. So when we break up with one, it can actually feel like a godsend for many of us, because we finally become free of the controlling behaviors, the insulting comments, and the constant gaslighting. And unfortunately for you, narcissists, they don't like to be alone. So therefore, they're always searching for a source of supply, someone who can make them feel better about themselves. And often they will find a new source of supply, but they will too often come back to you. Narcissists come back after dumping you? Yes, absolutely, almost 100% of the time. They most often come back after ending the relationship, and when they figure out that there is more supply for them to be had, usually when you have started healing and you, say, start dating somebody new, not coincidentally. So I know this is going to be totally unsatisfying, and there are so many people out there who say, oh my gosh, the narcissist would never come back. There's no way. I just know it. I can tell he or she is so happy in their new relationship. And I understand that, as with all questions that relating to your narcissistic ex, sometimes it's an unsatisfying "it depends" for an answer. And the circumstances of your breakup, your ex's mental health, your mental health and self-esteem, your willingness to communicate with the narcissist post-relationship, all of these things come into play. So why do narcissists come back? And while they do have this grandiose exterior with this inflated sense of pride, they have zero qualms about returning to a relationship if they believe that this would benefit them in some way and for no other reason. And this is especially true if they can make it look like they're taking you back, doing you a favor. They're always searching again for that source of supply, and if they can get it while making you feel like they're the more emotionally mature and forgiving person in the relationship, all the better it is for them. However, a lot of narcissists, many if not most narcissists, they will take this approach of acting like no time has passed. They pick up right where they left off, and they'll re-enter your life as if no breakup ever occurred between the two of you. And this not only gives them an enormous sense of power, it also weakens you mentally and emotionally, as their actions, they don't make any sense. And it makes it hard for you to understand what is real, what is grounded in reality, and what is not. And are you misremembering these fights? Are you sure that he or she dumped you or that you dumped him? And narcissists, they thrive on this confusion because it gives them control over the narrative. It gives them control over what is true. And so how long does it take before the narcissist comes back? Again, there is no conclusive or concrete answer to this. It could be a week, it could be months, it might even be several years. Narcissists do not have a timetable. They have horrible senses of time. They have alternate sources of supply, and when they run out, they always come looking for more. And it's safe to say that the longer you are in a relationship with a narcissist, the longer you will have to wonder, will the narcissist come back after dumping me? And the longer you are together, the more time the narcissist has had to learn your idiosyncrasies and how to control you. And they're comfortable in your toxic relationship. So it's always easier to come back rather than find someone new in many circumstances. So why do they do this when you're strong again? Because they love you at your best. And if you look back at the beginning of the initial stages of the relationship, you have the idealization, the love bombing, and you have the praise telling you how wonderful you are and how great you make them feel. And it's the latter part of that statement that really matters to the narcissist the most, though. The feeling diminishes the longer that you are in a relationship with this narcissist, and over time, because of that, they start to devalue, and in doing so, eliminating your ability to make them feel better about themselves. So it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy, and once they've devalued you enough, They will have no further use for you, and then finally the cycle goes back around with the discard. A breakup with a narcissist resets the whole cycle. Though especially if you have had the time and the strength to get your mental health back to what it was before, if not better than what it was before the toxic narcissistic relationship. And once again, you become the shiny new source of narcissistic supply, ready to be idealized, devalued, and discarded all over again. So what makes a narcissist tick after a breakup? And as always, it depends on a number of factors. I understand that it's frustrating, but the most important one, not the most important one, I would say the first one to look at would be who initiated the breakup. If it was the narcissist, the breakup could be just a show of power, or what some would call a final discard. Even though final discards, in my opinion, do not exist, they are very, very rare if they do. A show of power is designed to force you into a position of subservience, and you will ask for forgiveness, heap praise upon the narcissist, and provide a steady source of supply. And in this way, this kind of breakup is it's a narcissist cry for help, like more like a baby's, cry for help, that they're not getting the attention they want out of the relationship, which would be sex, admiration, control. And if you don't give the narcissist what they want after the breakup, for example, groveling, crying, chasing them everywhere, stalking them, they'll change tactics, and they may even ask you to forgive them. And if the narcissist was making what some would call a final discard, they could give you the silent treatment for months, for years, and they have probably moved on to another target and have no further use for you, the previous target. They could contact you several years down the road. This is not uncommon. When they have a need for supply, it's going unfulfilled in their current relationship, and it doesn't take long for their attention to turn elsewhere. And there's definitely a playbook, but there's not a real playbook for how things go whenever you have a breakup with a narcissist. How it proceeds is based on the narcissist needs and how willing you are to fulfill those needs. And in all cases, though, narcissist they need that supply. That's all that the relationship is about, is procuring supply and repairing the constant, steady, 100% of the time, repairing at that ego at your expense. And so how would the narcissist react if you dumped him or her? If you initiated the breakup, your partner or ex-partner is probably brimming with rage. You've ripped open this hole in their ego, and more than likely, regardless of what it looks like, destroyed more of their already scant self-esteem. The only remedy for them in this is for them to destroy you. Boy, do they have a lot of nasty tricks up their sleeve that they will use to bring you down, including smear campaigns that involve mutual friends, stalking, baiting you back into the relationship just so they can break up with you. And whatever the situation, the narcissist, their primary motivation after a breakup is procuring narcissistic supply, and more than likely bringing harm upon their ex, which also gives them narcissistic supply. And narcissists don't always come back. It's not a given 100%. A narcissist will play like they are regretful. They will pretend like they realize what they did wrong because they know what they've done wrong, but they're never going to take real accountability for it. It's all a form of control, and they will quickly lose that facade of regret and appreciation and revert to their own ways. So you have to recognize that you are in a relationship, accept that you are in a relationship with a narcissist. Know that as a narcissist, it is a 100% certainty that they will not change and they do not want to. Break up with the narcissist, but be prepared for the short-term and long-term consequences. And if the narcissist is nearing a discard phase with you, Just let it happen. No matter who initiated the breakup, go no contact forever afterwards. Maintain this even if the narcissist tries to reconnect with you months or even years down the line, and start your healing process, because a relationship with a narcissist is so incredibly damaging to our self-esteem. You must seek out professionals to guide you through the process, as this is always a good idea. And ending a relationship with a narcissist is never easy, and there is a high likelihood that they will come back to you at some point or another. My name is Sara Ann Brown, and this is Narcissistic Abuse 101.